Hello, everybody, and welcome to Simply Cards by Kathi. I'm Kathi Ondas, and today is Tuesday, August 15th, 2023. I'm coming to you a little bit later today than I usually do. I've been traveling out of town, and it just took me a little bit to catch up with things. So I'm excited today to share with you a quick and easy card using the new Autumn Leaves bundle that is coming out in the new catalog on September 6th. So we are going to not talk too much and just get started. But I want to remind you there will be a link right down below in the description of this video by 10 a.m. tomorrow that'll take you over to the website where you'll be able to see the supplies, the measurements, and a downloadable PDF so you can recreate the card or kind of use it for other ideas. So sit back, relax, and let's get started. Okay, I'm going to bring in, hopefully you can see my desktop pretty well and hear me. We're going to be using this new Autumn Leaves bundle. Now, I can't show you the catalog, but I certainly can show you the stamp set and the dies. And I really like some of the detail in this and some of the die cuts that go along with it. There's some really great greetings. And it is a photopolymer stamp set. Now today we're going to be using just one greeting and this large stamp, because I did say it was an easy card. And let me show you the dies. There are 17 dies in this die set, and some really detailed to be able to add some texture and interest to your card. You have some for your greeting, some tags, and then you have some detailed dies and dies that cut the stamped images. We're going to be using this die today. And we are going to be pairing it with the All About Autumn Designer Series paper. And I want to bring this in for you and show you some of this paper because it's gorgeous. And this is kind of where I got the idea for making a picturesque, as I'm calling it, thank you. But look at some of the scenery in this. And then you have one that is looks like a cable knit. And you have some with inlaid copper and one with the autumn leaves. And this looks like almost a velour or velour corduroy, and pumpkins and bookshelves and more leaves, but in different colors, some of the mauves. This is a leather, I guess, sofa. And again, some autumn leaves, very picturesque. Some bookshelves with wood and some more books, antique books. Now, if I flip it over, you're going to see beautiful papers and the copper clay and very vanilla, old olive, mossy meadow that have in the gold and copper inlaid with it. So beautiful designer series papers. Now, the one that we're going to use today is this one. And we're just going to go ahead and get started here. So our card base is copper clay, and it is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. So we are going to go ahead and fold this on our score line, and I'm just going to give it a quick burnishing with my bone folder to make sure a nice crease. Now I wanted to do a little bit of layering with this. So with the copper clay, I decided to use Very Vanilla. And I'm using a layer that is 4 by 5 1/4. And hopefully you can see this is embossed with one of the Basics embossing folder. That's an online exclusive. It encompasses 3 embossing folders. This is the one I call it, looks like hashtags. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere this to the front of my card with some multi-purpose glue. Now, if you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm so happy that you found me. And again, this is a time I don't typically go on. And if you are returning or catching me on the replay, and which I'm going to guess most people will, since I decided to just come on and do this, I'm so happy to have you with me and for your support and helping me grow my channel. So thank you so much. Now, when I'm adhering an embossed layer, I almost always exclusively use the multi-purpose glue. And the reason being is I can get a good seal with it. It gets kind of down in the crevices and able to adhere well. If I don't, it's very easy for me to just take the tip, like I'm going to do right now, because I didn't get close enough to the edge, and just add a little bit of glue in there and give it a good press. All right, we're going to set this off, and we're going to cut this piece of paper down. Now I'm going to layer this, and I want to cut 3 strips. So what I need is a piece that's going to be 3 3/4 by 1.5 inches. So I'm going to look at this, and you can do this with any scenery or I guess scenery, designer series paper. Pick out what you want to use from this. Now I've decided I want to use from this side over because I really like the variation in color here, and hopefully I'll be able to catch the trees. So because I need 3 7/8, I am going to, this is 6 inches, and I don't want to cut everything off the top. I'm going to pull this up here. If I put this to 3 7/8, I'm going to cut off almost all this yellow and leave most of this. So what I'm going to do is just take about 1/4 inch off the top. So let's do that. And then I need 4.5 inches over on this way. So I'm going to cut it to 4.5 because I need 3 1.5 inch strips. And that comes out to 4.5 inches. So let's go ahead and cut that. And then I have this to use on another card. Now I still need to get to 3 3/4. So I'm going to go ahead now and measure from the top, and I'm going to trim here from the bottom. I'm going to take a little more off the top. Let's do that. I want to be able to have some of those gold leaves in my card, and you'll see why in just a second. Now we're good. So 3 3/4. All right. So this is what we're going to work with, and we're going to cut 3 1 1/2 inch strips. So let's do that. 1, 2, and let's just make sure this is correct. Yep, 1.5. So now we can go ahead and put this away. All right, now I want to mount these. So I chose to use the crushed curry. That's what's in the paper. And I cut 3 strips of crushed curry that are 3 7/8 by 1 5/8. Now remember, these are the designer series papers, 3 3/4 by 1.5 inch. So that left me 1/8 of an inch to frame it all the way around. So let's go ahead and adhere these to our crushed curry. And we're going to just go ahead and get these on here, but then we're going to put them back together just like we had cut them, so that let's slide this over just a little bit, so that we have that picture back together like we originally had. And I'm actually putting it together as it was. So I think this is such a fun way to kind of preserve. I'm going to turn that over. The picture, or the landscaping, and have it as part of your cards. Now when I'm doing this, I want to line these up because I want these to be about the same distance on the bottom for my picture so that it carries right through. And let's go ahead and straighten that out just a little bit here. And that's a little wide there. I'm just going to even that up in a second. And then this one, we're going to go ahead and add this to here. So let's go ahead and do that. And then we're going to put these on the front of our card. So I'm going to do this here. I'm going to line it up so that we get about the same distance at the bottom so that our picture comes together. All right. Now I'm just going to trim this off just a little bit. It looks a little uneven. I'm actually going to do it with my trimmer. So let's bring that in. And I'm just going to bring it over here and bring that up. And that pretty much took care of that. All right, so let's go ahead and we're going to mount this on the front of our card. Now again, I want to put it back in the way that we trimmed it. Just going to trim. So we're going to start with, this was over on here. So I'm going to place them out because I want you to be able to see you want them pretty evenly spaced throughout the card. And then the next one is this one. You can see we pick up the leaves, the red leaves and the branches. And then this one is going to come in over here. So let's go ahead and I'm going to adhere the first one down. Now I'm going to glue these down. You could pop them up with dimensionals, but I'm going to choose not to because you're going to see what I'm going to add to the front using dimensionals. So just going to go ahead and give this a little, just a little bit of an edge all the way around. Sticking to my hands from the glue. Okay, now let's go ahead and add our second one is going to be there. And then let's make sure we have room for our third one. We do. So I'm going to put the third one down first, and then we'll put the middle one in. So just adding my adhesive. And I'm going to tap it over a little bit here. Oh gosh, it's sticking to me, not the card. There we go. And now we're ready to add this one. And we will have recreated that piece of designer series paper in the picture it was in. So let's go ahead and add this one here. And they're about evenly spaced. Slide that over just a little. All right. If I don't get it as even as possible, it's going to kind of drive me nuts. Okay, next, we're going to stamp a leaf. The big leaf that I showed you, we're going to go ahead and stamp. So let's bring in a piece of scrap paper. And I'm going to grab a piece here. And we're just going to trim this off and use this for stamping. So let's do this. All right. Now I want to pick up that crushed curry color for my leaf. So I'm going to bring that in, and because this is a photopolymer stamp, I want to use my piercing mat to get the best stamped image that I can. Let's straighten this up a little bit. For some reason that camera keeps slipping. So it's a large stamp, and we're going to go ahead and ink this up. And I am using the crushed yeah, crushed curry. I think that's good. And then I'm just going to come in and stamp it. And I'm going to give it a good press and just kind of hold it there for a minute because I want that ink to get absorbed into the paper. And look at that image. Isn't that pretty? Now I've already stamped and cut it out to save us a little bit of time. So I am using the die. This die fits perfectly. And here's our image. So I want to go ahead and adhere this to the card. And I'm going to do that with Stampin' Dimensionals. So let's grab those and pop some of those on here. Now I'm going to stick one on each of the leaves and then one in the middle, and we should be good to go. I love this stamp set, and there's so much we're going to do with it in the coming weeks. So let's pop this on here. Take these off. I hope you're enjoying your week. Kids around here are getting ready to go back to school. So I'm just going to kind of pop this in here, kind of picks up the color. And then I did stamp a greeting in Very Vanilla, and it is a greeting from the Autumn Leaves stamp sets with a grateful heart. And I want to just pop it here right in the middle. So what I'm going to do is put a glue dot on there to hold that down. And then we're going to put a dimensional on the other end. And I want that to come right across the center there. Okay, now I'm going to take some twine and a very simple, easy card. And I'm just going to make a nice big bow. And I'm going to double up my twine and just kind of make it a little bit uneven. You can kind of work with your loops here. And I want this to be a little bigger than I usually do. So let's trim this off and snip these and see what we want to do with this. So I'm going to show you another card where I did put I'm just going to do that. So we're going to grab another glue dot and put it right on the back of this bow. Okay. And maybe we're just going to put it, I don't know. Let's put it right here. I'm going to put it there. There we go. And then we'll trim our tails down a little bit. We can even bring that a little smaller if we want to because of the greeting, and just kind of move it over. All right. Very simple and easy. Now for the inside, I have another piece of the Very Vanilla. It's 4 by 5 1/4. Now for this one, I thought it'd be fun to take a piece of the crushed curry, and this is a piece from the designer series paper. And we're just going to go ahead and adhere this to the crushed curry, maybe. There we go. And I'm just going to run it from top to bottom right in the middle. And this is going to be a little bit longer because I wanted to make sure it would fit nicely, and then I can trim it off. So let's just scoot that over a little bit, which is why I like the multi-purpose glue. And then I'm going to grab my scissors and trim this. There we go. Now, we can put this right on here and glue it on and then trim it what it needs and leave it. But I thought it'd be kind of pretty to stamp another leaf using that. So I'm going to bring my crushed curry back in here and re-ink our stamp. And I'm going to grab my piercing mat. And I'm just going to go here on the edge and let's grab a piece of, just a piece of paper to protect that piercing mat here. You don't ever want to stamp right on your piercing mat. So let's go ahead and get this right about here. Give it a good press. You're only going to get a partial image, but it's really pretty. I love that stamp. And then you can still adhere our little strip if you wanted to over the side here, or you can even do it over here. I think I'm going to pop this up over here. So let's add that to that side. That's a little bit different. And then we'll adhere it to our card. So there we go. And let's snip this off right here. And we'll adhere our card. All right. So let's put this on. And center. And that looks pretty good. So here's the outside of our card. And then here's the inside. Let me show you a second one. It's made very similar. The only difference is I took my twine and I tied it around the layer before adhering the embossed layer to the front of the card. And then on the inside, I did leave it blank since it's a thank you for a personalized note, but then I just stamped the leaf. So let me bring you back to me for a minute. So I hope you enjoyed using the Autumn Leaves bundle and getting a couple ideas for something really quick, easy. And remember, you can do a layout just like this with whatever designer series paper you have, whether it is a landscape piece of paper or just the papers are beautiful, just to be able to recreate it with whatever you have. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. I certainly enjoyed doing it for you. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. I'll be back with you on Friday morning at 11 a.m. And I hope to see you again real soon. Have a great day, everybody.